Peace and power. Thank you for joining me on this beautiful evening on February 25th, 2024 on Bree Speaks. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe button and show your support. Today, we are going to review the council meeting here in the city of Newark, where we are going to address some concerns in regards to the Newark FD, Newark Fire Department, and the various disparities within the confines of the Newark Fire Department. There are some concerned citizens, obviously, that has made various complaints, and it has reached the council chambers of the municipal council, and these addressees has some concerns and want to know what the hell is exactly is going on here in the city of Newark. Why our candidates are being prohibited from applying for the fire department? Why are they being disbarred and terminated? We're going to get to the bottom line of what's really going on, because I know what's really going on. And we're going to get straight to the root of it. We're not going to sugarcoat nothing, man. Sometimes the truth hurts, but we're going to delve deeply into what's going on. Here we go. Do it all, Kelly, West Ward City Council.
How you guys doing? I've received a lot of calls from firemen and firewomen in our great city of Newark. And they're complaining. They're feeling some type of way about the disparity that is in the class. When you talk about 86 recruits and you have only 6 Black, 3 women, and then you see social media posts that have people from different counties like Wall Township.
Stop. With all due respect, Councilman Dupree Kelly, Wall Township is not a county. If any one of you are not familiar, if you're not from Jersey, Wall Township is located in a county of Monmouth County. The county is actually Monmouth County, and Wall Township is located in that county. And I'll give you an idea exactly how far away. Interesting. I used to live in Monmouth County, so I'm familiar with Wall Township. But I can give you guys an understanding how far Wall Township is from the city of Newark.
The counties being accepted, it's almost demoralizing for Newarkers who want to be a firefighter, who have went through the process. I guess my question is, after a candidate passes all of the exam standards, what are some of the restrictions that will not allow them to be accepted into the class?
That would be this in some of the, prior to getting to us, there are civil service requirements, and then there's the hiring standards for fire department. That's what we're going to review right now. I can go in specifics, for any felony offenses that you've gone to prison, but I can't go specific to each one. It's the totality of circumstances, which we're reviewing right now. Felonies won't be allowed, but that's one of the requirements. If you've been charged or found guilty or investigated for a murder or armed robbery or things of that nature, most likely will never get into the fire department. That might be a concern.
Stop. All right. We got Fritz Fry J, Public Safety Director, City of Newark. This director is a relatively new director. I just want to state that for the record. This guy's he's stuttering, man, and I don't like people who stutter. We're going to delve into the exact question that the council member asked. What are the requirements and exams and restrictions as far as candidates applying to, and as far as them being accepted into the class, right? Let's just delve straight into this, because this guy, he's all over the place. You're saying that there are no felonies, no convictions. Then you're saying they can't be investigated for a crime. Which one is it? We need to know exactly which is the restriction that disbars possible candidates from applying and being accepted into the class of the fire department. All right, because you sit here saying that, we're not going to delve into this and that specifically. No, this is on public record, and this is a public forum, and you need to get on your job and do your job and be concise and speak succinctly about the ongoing issues and the questions and concerns that's being raised. We have some major disparities here in the city of Newark when it comes to Black folks. And this has been a generational thing, man. This has been going on for decades. Let me be clear, for decades. And nobody was never really talking about this. It was pretty much swept under the rug. Let me be clear. A lot of things when it came to disparities and, the hiring practices and within even the police department, this has been going on for a long time. And even I mentioned something several months back about this very same issue that has been brought up recently about the disparities in the fire department. Here we live in an all-Black city, primarily all-Black city. Majority of people here is Black. Let me be clear. Yes, we have immigrants. Yes, we have people, migrating here that's been migrating over the years. But for the most part, the city of Newark is primarily Black. But when you look at the representation within the various departments, you don't really see that. And specifically, we want to talk about under the public safety sector. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about the Division of Fire, the Division of Police under Public Safety. When you see the officers in our community, when you see the firefighters in our community, they don't represent us. They don't look like us. You can clearly tell that they do not live here in the city. And I was always curious to know why has it been like that even since I was a kid in the 90s? You know, the Italians and the Irish, they always had an advantage over us when it comes to representation. Now, Fritz Frage is saying something about, you can't be a felon, you can't be investigated for a murder, we need to delve into which one is it, because there's a thing that's called due process, and if you're not found guilty of a crime, you should be eligible to enter into the class and apply and, be accepted, especially if you're from the community and you go through all the various requirements and you pass the civil service test, you should be allowed to enter into the fire department. There shouldn't be all these so many restrictions to fight a fucking fire, man. Let's be clear. Like, yes, there needs to be safety and needs to be, protocols and procedures to, so we make sure everybody that's working around each other, is safe. But at the same time, man, there needs to be some major changes, man. And we need to bring this to the forefront. Because I did a video a few months back, and I'm gonna share with you briefly. Speaking about these disparities and watching, you see these different firefighters, and you just like, wow, why are they here? They don't even represent us. All this has to do, man. The bottom line is white supremacy, man. This is a design, man. This is designed to be this way. Let's finish watching the video. Let's see what he's talking about. Because like I said, he started stuttering.
The other ones are just subject to review. Like I said, when we review it, I can forward that information of what the changes are, if any, once I discuss it with the business administrator and review the comparison between 2017 and 2019. What I can tell you is the difference in disparity on how these were chosen. In 2017, the physical requirement was the standard for ranking people in 2017 to 2019. In 2019, it was changed to the written requirement. Civil service. So we're reviewing that and see that had a demographic change of why it was shifted. It was changed in that year. That from that point on, all the ranking that we get from the city. So I don't know demographics until we get the list of who we're investigating. But the rankings now are based on the actual physical written test now, and not on the physical test. So that's a big change that happened. That
Madam President,
Hold on 1 second, Councilman Kelly.
is there a restriction against tattoos?
Well, not necessarily restricted against tattoos. There is some restrictions in reference if you're involved in gang activity, if they can prove you're involved in gang activity, if you've been investigated for, it's totality of circumstances. I can't go into anything specific.
Stop. Again, we need total and complete transparency, man. Stop saying that, which you're not going to be specific. Just answer the question. We need to know, are tattoos allowed to be in the fire department? Because last time I checked, all the police in the whole goddamn entire country, public safety and police departments, 18,000 police departments all over the country and fire departments all over. All these people have tattoos, man. White supremacists, signals of white supremacy, all types of lightning bolts and all types of tattoos. Let's not play with this here, man. We're talking about people's livelihoods now. And you're doing it again. You're talking about which you can't get specific in. Just answer the question, please.
But I can provide on a case-by-case basis based on your review. But it wouldn't be just one thing that just having a tattoo doesn't preclude you from being a firefighter. Just, shoplifting would not preclude you based on the time frame it happened. But the totality of things happening, conversations, and now we're in the process of actually, we're going to probably mandate audio review of the interviews to document what was written down, to make sure that we're even going further to ensure that there's some view of review where people can see, okay, this is what happened. These are the investigations going forward, so we can prove that.
So the reason why I'm asking,
I'm sorry to cut you off, Councilman Kelly, but if you're going to talk about like a personal situation, I would advise we go into an executive session to discuss, or we take the conversation offline. I don't want to discuss anybody's personal applicant situation here in this full body in a public forum. So I would recommend we go into executive session if you want to go into details.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. Do you have any other public conversation for the director?
no.
Stop. So clearly the Councilman Do It All Kelly, this is a situation where this is personal, where this is somebody he knows, whether it's a close relative, a friend, someone made the phone call to him to make a complaint about their son or daughter or whatever the case may be, trying to enter into the fire department. and they're having some, a lot of hula hoops. You know what I'm saying? They having some problems. And now, he want to put it on record, in a public forum, something personal. And the council president, MacGyver, she pretty much put that to a halt. Let's finish watching and see what Councilman Ramos has to say.
Okay, Councilman Ramos.
Yeah, thank you, President. I do hear some of the concerns that have been raised by my colleagues, and perhaps the director and deputy, if you can get us some information regarding the number of applicants who were considered in this last list that were Newark residents, and maybe a summary of some of the reasons behind disqualifications without violating any kind of privacy restrictions. Give us. I mean, I could speak from experience without getting into too much detail, but director and I were back and forth regarding a candidate whose mother had reached out to me and numerous individuals, and sometimes you hear one side of the story from the applicant and their family, and when you take that opportunity to investigate what some of the issues were behind the disqualification, my experience is that more times than not, there were some pretty valid reasons. What can we do on the front end? It's always been my question. Newark Public Schools, we have a pretty robust group of young people who are in high school, some of whom may not necessarily, be not interested, but may want to consider other options upon graduation. And we really need to expose those young people to careers in law enforcement, police, fire, educate them on the process that they need to start following early as it relates to keeping a good credit history, a stable residential situation, because those are the things that will disqualify them along the way. And there's some groups, and you see a lot of family members in the fire division, right? You have uncles, fathers, and then their sons and nephews who get on the job because they're well versed in the process. And I think we know.
Stop. All right, you see what he just said, right? I mean, and this is very important to note, because he basically just said that, he admitted that, this is pretty much a generational thing, specifically by saying, you got people's sons and nephews, and they coming on board, and this been going on. This is by design. This been going on all over the country in the Black community, where you have these Caucasians, the disparities, when it comes to them working and us being discriminated against. This is something that's serious. Just keep in mind, pay attention to what he just said. Because this is exactly what's going on. And that's basically, just passing generational wealth. All right, this is all about generational wealth and systemic issues and problems. And things that needs to be changed. Because there's no way, the politics is crazy, man. When someone could just hire somebody because this is my son, this is my nephew, or let me get him in. And a lot of this stuff been going on. I've been seeing it firsthand, even down at sanitation, man. I see a lot of that stuff going on. So let Ramos finish speaking, man. I just had to, point that out, because that's exactly what's going on.
To teach, our young people the same thing at an early age so that they can take advantage of these career opportunities. So just my 2 cents.
Any other comments, Councilman Silva?
Yes, thank you, Council President. Director, I'm a believer in civil service, right? You guys are off civil service list, Director, and so is our Deputy Director there. Maybe we just need to prepare our residents a little better. I know the Director had classes throughout each ward. I know the test is difficult, right? Because I took it, and there's 300, at that time there was 300 plus questions. So maybe we just need to prepare our residents a little better, because at the end of the day, you said you got 20 out of the 149, or 20 out of what's in the class now. But what I believe is we had a lot of applicants not pass the civil service test, and that becomes an issue, right? And that becomes an issue. We got only 149 people who passed the civil service exam, but we don't even know how many took it and how many failed. So I think it's incumbent upon us, the council, to work with you guys to maybe prepare our Newark residents a little better, because if you don't pass a civil service test, it doesn't matter what your background looks like. You're not getting hired. So, we could look at what Councilman Kelly's saying and Council and the background check and all that stuff. But if you don't pass the civil service exam, you don't even get to that point. So I think our first objective is to get them to pass the exam, and then we can work on the rest.
All right, now, Councilman Silva, this is Councilman Silva in the East Ward, man. I've been studying him, man. He be on point with some things, man. And what he just said has some merit. Preparation is important. And when we talk about, our youth, man, trying to, pass on the torch, to our youth, and, as they become older and become a new generation of people, man, to run and control the society, man, I think preparation is very important, man. And I just definitely want to shed some light to that, because, One thing I think we're lacking in, man, is trying to get a better understanding and a grasp on our youth as far as trying to elevate them and inform them on certain things, and it concerns of education and what to do. So, because once they turn 18, we know they still babies and everything, but at the same time, we know that legally they're adults, but they still need some guidance, man. And I think the younger you get them, in regards to preparation, man, you definitely can inspire them. They can definitely have the foreknowledge, to pursue their dreams or whatever it may be. So yeah, I just want to mention that. That's definitely was on point what Councilman Silva said.
I was going to go to another question, because Councilman Sila had a comment, but question from Councilman Crum?
Thank you, Council President. I guess it's more of a comment too. I just, at this point, with probably a few exceptions, this class is done. But going forward, I hope there's a concerted effort, and it sounds like there will be a concerted effort to determine the root of the cause of why this is occurring. And it may be, as what Councilman Silva was saying, we need to upfront prepare folks for the exam.
Stop. All right, listen, man, we're not going to do that. We know the root of it. We know that the system of white supremacy is the direct issue at hand, and that's what we need to talk about. But because a lot of you house niggas and Uncle Toms and bootlickers and bootleg are afraid to speak about white supremacy, we will never, ever be able to delve into the root of it. Yes, I did big up Councilman Silva about the whole, item of preparation and everything, but let's not play with this here. We know white supremacy has a lot to do with the disparities when it comes to us rising up through the ranks in anything. We all know that we at the bottom of the totem pole in everything. All right, we're not even gonna play with that. And this has been going on for generations, since COINTELPRO, since the '60s. All right, let's not come on. This is supposed to be an elder here. He's supposed to have the knowledge and the history. He's supposed to know and be able to attack this thing face on, so we can begin to start the process of changing various laws and policies, so that we don't have to have a situation where, if you have been convicted of a crime from 20, 30 years ago, it makes you disbarred and prohibited from applying for these jobs, these civil service jobs. We can't be doing that, man. We gotta stop playing games, because this is what this thing looked like.
And as a council member, I know others have done this, and I also offer my support and help in that if necessary, to help sponsor classes to help folks prepare for the exam. But I think at the end of the day, just keep us involved in what's going on and see where we can help and assist. Because at the end of the day, I think diversity in our fire department is important because it represents our community. We know how important it is in the police department. It's just as important in the fire department, so that it reflects the community that we have today, and which entails, in turn, provides, I believe, better service for our community.
Thank you, Councilman Crum. Director?
Yes, I want to say that everything you've informed me today, we've been doing it. As a matter of fact, we've even, out of the 250 candidates, Newark Police Department only disqualified a total of 14 out of 250.
What's the number? We can barely hear you.
Out of the 250 candidates that we selected, Newark Police, Newark Fire Investigations Unit only disqualified 16 out of the 250 that were disqualified. And even in the 16 that we disqualified, since we started this administration, we pulled those 16 disqualifiers, and they will be reviewed to make sure there's no other discrepancies on the stats and why they were reviewed. So out of that, we have 16 to review. All the exceptions we also have to review prior to getting in, but they have to get done first. In the current list, they're all being re-reviewed right now with the full jackets for my office to review. All the backgrounds now don't just stay in candidate investigations, so you can be assured of what's happening. Prior to that, candidate investigators do the investigations, and it will go through. Even the exceptions have to be re-reviewed by my staff at 48 Clinton Avenue to analyze, to make sure they're capable of going in, and all the denials get reviewed now to ensure that we can review and make sure there's no adverse circumstances. I think everybody, every council member have called me on different circumstances at that on a one-on-one basis. I can explain some of the reasons why. I can't disclose it because some of the civil service requirements is why they're not being qualified. I can't talk about that civil services requirement per their rule that they have to explain to the person individually. So I can't release that because that's them to release that information. But thank you for your time.
Madam President, before the director leaves, so you review the ones that were disqualified, but what about the ones that qualified? Because
We did that too. I just told you that. We reviewed out of the 150 that came through to us, every single one that was qualified was reviewed first.
okay,
Because prior to getting the academy, I have to sign it.
okay,
So we have a separate review process, which we added when I took over 2022 to make sure that my office reviews all the qualified, reviews it to make sure that it goes through properly. And then we also look at the disqualified to make sure nobody was disappointed.
no, my concern was that, let's say, if I'm friendly with the person doing the review, let's say the first review, I may be qualified, but in fact I am not. So
Yes.
having the second review would take care of that.
Yes, we do.
All right, so this particular item in the meeting agenda has come to a conclusion. They are going to go into an executive session. I would like to present the video in regards to the disparities, a portion of the video in regards to the disparities within the fire department.
Newark FD, which do has black and brown employees from the city within the organization, but is still politically controlled and dominated by the Italian and Irish American natives of the city. In most cases, a lot of them is not even from or don't live in the city. They come from the outside suburbs of NJ, with temporary Newark residency addresses. What the hell is my point? My point is there is an enormous and serious undisputed disparity between these two organizations and groups of people when it comes to wealth and representation. DPW should both be under the umbrella of public safety, as there poses a major health hazard if the city is left unsanitary for 2 days. My second point is race in politics is and has been playing a major part of those same disparities for the last few decades that nobody wants to talk about. As long as a few blacks eating at the DPW, all else is swept under the rug. I can continue and write a book of so much, but I'll leave it here. Hell, we need money, realistic livable wages, and decent housing within the city of Newark. I'm astonished at the fact in this all so-called black city black is at the bottom of the totem pole, while others is at the
I'm
top.
not the East Ward a lot, I'm just specifically talking about the East Ward. I see one driver, one garbage truck. There is no way that these individuals can pick up garbage on both sides of the street with one person driving and one person putting garbage in the back of the truck. Logistically and physically impossible by the end of the day. So I would just like to know from sanitation if we can have what exactly are the numbers that we need to give the residents of the city proper garbage pickup. Because I've never seen in the East Ward, garbage is not picked up, say, on a Monday, and then they have to finish on a Tuesday. They start garbage pickup on a Thursday and have to finish on a Friday. So something's wrong somewhere. So sanitation, or somebody can give us the numbers of the manpower they physically and actually need to give our residents proper garbage pickup.
The next day, on Friday morning or on Monday night, I'm getting phone calls that the garbage was picked up. And so now they have to go back out the following day because there's only one guy, one worker in the back of the garbage truck picking up the garbage. And that's how it works.